This program is brought to you by UCKG.
Welcome to Love Talk. Now, before we even go into today's topic, please stop now and think about your own life. Are you single? Are you in a relationship? Are you dealing with problems in your love life? Have you ever had any problems in your relationship?
I'm pretty sure that everybody, or at least many, said yes to the last question. It is a very hard task to find someone who has never had any problems in their love life. We have all had issues to work out with our partner or even with ourselves at one time or another.
That's right, Anna. So please do not think that the grass is always greener on the other side. We are all human after all, and we all have flaws. But it's totally up to you to fight for your happiness. All is not lost, as this is why we are here today. Our job and our daily goal is to help you to be equipped to deal with any problems that may arise in your relationship.
You will now see the story of two people, two lives who came together to make one.
We have here now a couple, Douglas and Grazi, who have a very interesting story to share with us, and we're going to talk to them. So thanks for coming to the Love Talk show. Okay, hi to you.
Hello.
So how long have you been married?
We've been married for 14 years.
14 years, right? Just for us to get an understanding, how did you come to meet one another?
That is an interesting part. Yes, because the first time I met him, it was really shocking because my husband came from a very difficult moment in his life. He was using drugs and he was coming out of that. So when I met him, he was how can I say? I felt pity on him because he was so dirty and all with his clothes all baggy, and I was like, oh, poor him. But I greeted him and so on, and later he started to change, and we became friends, just friends, right?
It's interesting because it was like a shocking encounter like this, and being so different. I can assume that you were nothing like that, never imagined.
No, it was a big turn off there and then.
But it was the change that you saw, the positive change that you saw in Douglas that started to get your attention, right?
Yes, we became very, very close friends because in that time I had a relationship and he had a relationship with someone else. So there was no chance between us, right?
Yeah, actually we used to talk a lot about our relationships, and I would always incentivize her to get married to her boyfriend then, and likewise, yeah. So there was no
Any intention that time?
No, I saw him as a very close friend. He knew my family. He would come to have lunch with us on Sundays. It was just like, and he was close friends with my brother. So I think we never imagined that we could come out of a friendship zone to
a romantic relationship, yeah.
And all of a sudden, what happened? How did it ended up become? How did you guys ended up tying the knot?
He played guitar. No. That was not it. But he did play the guitar, and I was a bit like, well, I'm looking at him differently now. What's going on? But that was not it. What was it?
Okay, well, we knew each other very well. I think that this is, you know, if you want to be happy and successful in a relationship, you need to get to know your partner well before you guys make a decision to tie the knots. Because imagine you're gonna spend, you know, a lot of years together with that person. And because we knew each other very well.
Sorry to cut you off just a moment, because this is something interesting here. You focus, Douglas, correct me if I'm wrong, first in overcoming the drug addiction.
Yeah.
You could say you invested in yourself. Correct. Right? Before even thinking about anything. I know that at the beginning you were not even thinking about it, but and you didn't also do anything towards him whilst he was still struggling with that problem, right? Which brings to an important point, Ana. You see, there are certain issues that need to be addressed, that need to be resolved even before a relationship starts. Because if people just assume that being in a relationship will take care of the issue, what will probably happen is that it's just going to be like trying to fight fire with gasoline, right? There has to be the self-investment first. For you to be in a relationship, first you have to be well with yourself. If you're not well with yourself, evidently, you will not be able to have a good relationship with someone else, right?
Yes, because it's going to bring a lot package, a big and heavy package to the relationship, and then it's going to cause more problems.
And from dating to wedding, sure, about how long?
A year and 4 months.
Which is a good time,
yeah.
Right? Which is a good time. Actually, you mentioned something interesting, because even with a good dating period and everything, and as open as one can be in the relationship, by the time of the wedding, by the date of the wedding, you can say if you had very good communication, that you probably know about 20 to 25% of your partner. There's many things that will only really be discovered after the marriage, right? So you got married, in the difficulties in adapting. What can you talk about?
I think just before we get into it, talking about the marriage, just before we got married, when we were dating, Grazi and I used to work for the same company. She was the manager of a department, and I was working as a teacher in this company. Something happened, and we both got sacked, right? And then we were dating, and then we looked at each other and said, okay, what are we going to do now? And then I said, you know what? I've got potential, I've got talent, and so do you. So you know what? Let's pull together and let's start our own business. We did not have funding, we did not have money, we did have investors, people who believed in us. And we started from scratch. We started working, it wasn't easy, but then, you know, we started working, bringing customers to the business, and little by little we were growing. And why am I mentioning this? Why I think it's important? Because we both understood that when a couple pulls together, you know, you optimize your potential.
And now let's talk about things that didn't work very well.
The difficulties.
Yes,
that's
right?
why he mentioned the opening the business.
Thing, yeah.
Because we would stay the whole day together. We got married, and eventually, obviously, we were working in this company, so we would stay every day, all the time together. It was like we wouldn't have a bit of a space or break.
Yeah.
And then obviously the adoption was pretty much more intense than other couples who have a bit of a distance and space. And I think that's when we had a bit of more.
So you were
clashes.
husband and wife and business partner.
Yes.
How do you deal with this? Tell me.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult to separate and balance.
Yeah, because you need to learn how to separate things. Because, for example, in the house, she was my wife, but in the work, she was my manager.
Did it result in arguments at times? Did it? Yeah. Talk a little bit about this. How did you feel?
No, as she said, you know, because she came from a different background. Because, you know, our background plays a very important part in our character. I came from a family which was very laid back. I did not have a father figure. So obviously I grew up and I did not have that drive, you know, to make things happen. And Grazi was the very opposite. But the good thing is, you see, this is another lesson that we get from relationship. again, the optimization, because we came together, I was able to get it from her, and she was able to get something from me. And these, you know, really played a very important part in our lives.
In overcoming those difficulties.
Well, we had to pay 2 rents. It was not easy because we were newlyweds, so we had to pay the rent of the house, the utility bills, and it was crazy. Sometimes, you know, the money was very short. We would always have to budget the money, but we were together. We made mistakes in our business, of course. You know, we made bad, terrible transactions, bad business, but we also made good business. But the best of all, we were happy, we were together.
He says that because we were stolen by someone. That's why he's saying that we made bad transactions.
But you see, they were able to overcome these hardships that, I know we're talking about specific situations, such as difficulty in business, you could not pay a bill, the service was cut, but how many couples in a moment like this, they turn against each other. They start to blame one another, they start to have, you know, to play the blame game, when actually what intelligent love teaches is that you don't fight one another, you both team up and you fight against the problem, right? So people need to stop fighting each other and they need to fight against the problem, which is what they did.
Yeah, so many people, they give up in the relationship in the beginning, right? Because they want a partner a complete partner. And they just give up, oh no, this doesn't work, so they go on to another relationship. Yes. They don't want to grow together.
Everyone wants the work done. It's much easier, right? But who wants to do the hard work? And happy marriages do take hard work. They are possible, but it's the beauty of allowing yourself to be influenced by someone and also influenced. So you needed that push. I know that in the beginning it's difficult for us to find the balance, right? And you needed to tone down a little bit. Have you found this balance today?
Yes, I'm much more like him now, more calm, more, you know, how do you say, centered. And now I'm so secure that he's gonna get it done that I'm just like
not worried,
not stressed. Obviously, this had to with time, isn't it? We had to adapt it with time.
Very good. I want to thank you both for coming, and it's plain to see, Ana, that they didn't just use feelings. Obviously, the feeling is there, but there are times in the relationship that you cannot go by feeling, because if you're just going to do what you feel, you end up going crazy or turning your partner, making him or her crazy. You have to use your mind. I know it's much easier said than done, but that's the right thing to do. That's why we talk about loving intelligently, loving with your mind, and the heart will follow. Right? Congratulations on you both. 14 years, yeah?
14 years.
Very,
congratulations.
Very good. And thanks for sharing your story, all right?
Thank you.
Very good. Dear viewer, we started our show revealing to you that no matter what negative issues you may be dealing with now, you can still change your life. It is very possible indeed to build a future that is very different from your past.
Now it's time for a break, but don't go anywhere. Up next, you will address today's topic of couples working together.
And if you currently work with your spouse and things are going wrong, or if you are thinking of going into business with your partner, but are not sure if this would be a good idea, we are here to help you. We're gonna come back after this very short break with more Love Talk Show. Welcome back to Love Talk Show. Nowadays, with our busy lives, some couples complain about not having enough time to spend together. In order to prevent this problem in the relationship, they have to maintain the right work-life balance. We already talked about this on a previous show, and we can talk more about this.
Yes, we can, Edward, but not today. Today we'll talk about the couples who do the opposite. They are couples who work together, no matter the circumstances, whether they own business together or if they are colleagues in the same company. We are example of that. And later today, we will share with you our experience.
Yes, for some people, Anna, working with their spouse sounds like a disaster.
That's true.
They're even terrified of hearing this. But for others, however, this can make their relationship even stronger, right? This can work for them, as there are a lot of pros, right, in this. And of course, there are also the cons, and you need to know how to deal with them. With the right tools, you can make both your personal and working relationship much more successful.
There are great advantages to working side by side. This depends entirely on your attitude.
That's absolutely right. And now to illustrate what we're talking about, this is what we are going to do. Check out this beautiful married couple that are going to share their experiences in having a relationship, of course, with one another. They're married, but also in being partners at work. So they have a lot of good things to share with us. It's going to be very exciting, and I'm excited also to see their story here together with you.
Hi everyone, my name is Yasmin and I'm here today with my husband Tapua. And today we're here to talk about how we work together as husband and wife in our business.
Me and Yasmin, we've been together for 11 years. We've been married for 4.5 years now. I used to work in the entertainment industry, and my work was working with artists in studios, traveling a little bit, and when I would travel, she would come with me.
So that's why I actually wanted to work with him, because I thought we were good together. I thought we would be able to work really well together, but he never wanted to work with me.
I think for me, the reason why I never wanted to work with my wife, and at that time girlfriend, of course, the reason was because I always thought, okay, things are perfect the way they are. Let me carry on with my work, you carry on with what you're doing. She was studying at university. Today, I'm proven different, proven wrong.
See, he's not always right.
But I think it was more so because when we started then working together, we saw that we had many strengths. So we decided to do this together. And how would you say it was in the beginning? I think it was a bit tough. It was exciting. Right?
I think for me, I was excited the whole time. So it wasn't really tough from the beginning. It was really exciting. But then I think, trying to find that balance between work and then trying to find the balance between, our relationship. Yeah. That's the part that we struggled with at the beginning.
Yeah. Even though we're working together in our company, our positions in the company are actually equal. So we're co-CEOs of our company. But of course, being a husband as well, I had to make sure, okay, things are tough right now, but I have to make sure that I get it to a position where I can, provide more things for her, whatever she needs, she can have. So for me, I couldn't stop working until I achieved that.
I think men, they think more of the end result, and then we think of the details, the process of how it's going to work.
Exactly. So before we worked together, and I would burn myself out because I wouldn't know when to stop, or I wouldn't allow myself to stop, and I would end up burning out, which would be a setback really, because I'd work so hard for something, and then when I burn out, I take 2-3 months where I don't want to do anything.
I would take breaks in between, and I wouldn't burn out. So
exactly. So
I think our differences kind of help, to I don't know how to explain it.
To balance each other. Yeah. It's still an ongoing challenge, I'll be honest with you, because sometimes you have deadlines, you have things that you have to meet, you have a difference at home. Say for example, we argue, right? We have a disagreement, and then we've got a meeting that we have to go to, or we've got our colleagues that are coming into work. And so we have to be like, okay, right, it ends at the door. And when we go into work, we work as normal, because if we let that affect our work, literally we would both be sitting there, no work would be done. And it actually works out that usually when we do this, as the day goes by, we forget that we even like had a disagreement. So it's like, it works out even nicer.
And you can grow faster in your company as well. Like when you're together, there's no, like, you don't have to take as much time off, because like when you know there's a deadline, if you're not like married, there's that whole like, okay, bye, that's it, it's finished. But then with us, we can really like, we can do all-nighters. Like if we, you know, have like a trip, a business trip, we can both go together, and then we can use that business trip to like have some fun time as well. So for us, it's not all like just work and work and work. It's really fun.
It's definitely important to enjoy the process. Like enjoy the hard times, because they help you grow. And you really like have to use every opportunity. We could let the business, you know, fail if it meant that, you know, we'll be saving our relationship, because it's far more important. And we've had situations before where we didn't have a company, we didn't have, you know, what we have today, and before that we had each other and we were happy, you know. And it's through us having the support that we give each other that helped us to be where we are. Because when you start a business on your own, if you face challenges, like you feel alone in that space. But in my second business that I did, she was very much supportive, you know. She, even when I would fail things, she was always there supporting me. And that's when I started learning that I was like, oh, you know what, that's why I should take it with me everywhere. Now in the terms of, okay, let's look at salaries for an example. So again, 3 years ago when we started this company, we were not paying ourselves anything at all. You know, and again, as a husband, you know, you think, okay, well, I know that we're not paying ourselves. I still have that moment where I have to think, it's her birthday, it's her, you know, it's her anniversary coming up, and I have to think, okay, I need to find a way to to get something for her, to buy her something. So should go out there and get styling jobs, and then, you know, and should earn extra money. So I think it's been like a healthy competition, really, to be honest, because I always have to make sure, okay, no, she did something for me last time, I have to do something for her as well.
And I think it also goes back to like that whole thing of having balance between work and your personal life, because to be honest, like if you're working with someone who's not like relative or your family, you don't really see like your boss or your employee as he's a man, or he's your husband, or she's your wife. You kind of just respect them as your colleague. And I think that's something that we, you know, we've always tried to like keep as our foundation, that we're married, but then when it's business, it's business. And there's no like, okay, well, oh, my husband, he's getting this much, or you know, we try to just keep it really professional.
It's equal, you know, we pay ourselves the same salary, because at the end of the day, it's our household's money. You know, whenever we make decisions to spend on something, if it's something big, of course, we discuss with each other. It's a partnership. Just as we work in our company, it's a partnership. Also in our marriage, it's a partnership. Something she always reminds me, because as men, sometimes we fault in this, in the sense of we're in work, and you may not look at your wife as your business partner in some cases, and you might feel like, oh, this decision, because I've said we shouldn't do this, maybe we should go with this. Or if I feel it's my area of the company, I feel like, no, I should have the last say in this area, because it's my area. The last thing you want to do is to just agree to something just for the sake of it, especially when you're both co-running something. You know, you don't want to be in a position where you're being dragged along something you don't agree with, or something you don't support.
But I think the first stage in our business, we agreed to have therapy. Like that's something 100%. That I know like a lot of couples run away from it, and they feel that like if you have therapy, it's
counseling.
It's like you're going through problems, but like we look at it as a way of like preventing problems. Like it's a place where we can kind of address issues that we see in the business, like how we work together, and even like how we are like in our personal life, in our actual marriage. So I think that, you know, when things are going really well with us, the business goes really, really, really well. And then, you know, if things are not going so great with us, we're not as creative together. So I think it's really important that we, you know, we invest in, you know, therapy.
Definitely, 100% agree. Like, I know I'm saying this right now, but sometimes
he never used to be like this. I had to almost drag him along because he didn't believe in therapy.
Today, I think today we're in a position where as our company, it's growing more. We're achieving things. We're succeeding, I would say, and I think I have to thank my wife for that. And us working together like this has helped us to build something. I wouldn't change it any other way.
Thank you so much, Edward and Anna, for having us today. It's been a great experience.
Yeah, it's been really fun having the opportunity to share our experience about our business here on the Love Talk Show. Has been an honor for us. Thank you and see you.
Thank you. Bye.
So thank you very much for sharing your life experience with us. It means so much to us and to our viewers. We will now go for a break because when we return, there is still a lot to explore on this topic of working together and being partners. We'll be right back. Hello, dear viewer. We are here and we came in the middle of the break to tell you this. The best way for you to learn how to deal with your relationship problems, Anna, is to learn how to deal with
ourselves. If you don't know how to deal with yourself, you don't know how to deal with others.
That's right. That's why we have the Love Therapy. Every Thursday at 8 p.m. in Finsbury Park, 232 Seven Sisters Road, N4, 3NX, and also in some other locations. For more information, visit our website, lovetherapy.co.uk. See you there.
See you.
Hello, viewers of the Love Talk Show. Here we are again with the segment Love Lessons. The one of today, Anna, is very interesting. Yes?
Yes.
If it is right, do it. If it's not, don't. That way, you will always get it right. What we say is very interesting because simply today, this breaks the myth of having to find the right person.
Yes. And
It's a
many
myth.
times in the relationship, we expect the person to do the right thing. So not me, you do the right thing, but I don't want to put any effort. But if I do the right thing, the things that will come to our relationship is going to be the right thing.
Yeah, and it all starts from the understanding that it's about doing the right thing. Yeah. You don't have to meet the right person. No one is the right person. There's no complete individual. You are not right. You are not completely right. I'm not completely right.
Not perfect.
Neither are you. We all have our flaws, our mistakes. So how can it be that marriages exist, the happy marriages exist, that marriages succeed when people choose to do what is right for the relationship and not do what is wrong? Yes. For instance, lying is wrong. Don't do it. Even if you are the perfect lady for me, but you lie, you're no longer the right person. There will be problems. Right? Cheating is wrong. Disrespecting is wrong. Selfishness is wrong. So when you do what is wrong, it doesn't matter who the other one is. You are setting this relationship for failure. When you do what is right, then you are putting your relationship on the route to success. There is not only one person that has to match with you like the piece of the puzzle, and if it's not that person, you can't be happy with anyone else. There's no such thing. As we know, Anna, for instance, that there are couples that they were married, happily married. It just happened that one of them passed away for whatever reason, an accident, a disease, and they got married to someone else later on and continue being happy. So if it was the only one they could be happy with and the person died, oh no, now I'm doomed to be unhappy for life. No, absolutely not. The success of a relationship is not in finding the right person, but in finding someone willing to do what is right for the benefit of the relationship.
For example, like respect, make the right sacrifice for the relationship. So many things that you can do the right thing, right?
Yes, you need to sacrifice. Without sacrifice means you don't do everything you like, you don't do everything you want, it's not always your way or the highway. Many times you concede, many times you compromise, many times you don't do what you want to do, but you let the other
What
partner...
you feel like to do.
Yeah, if you only do what you like, you end up with a life that you hate, right? That's a fact. If you only want to do what you like, you will end up with a life that you hate, because sacrifice is necessary. These concessions, these compromises, many times putting even the other one first and saying, okay, let it be your way this time. And
Be patient.
yes, understanding, holding back from acting in an emotional way. When we do these things, we are doing what is right. And when we do what is right, it's not about the person's looks, it's not about how knowledgeable they are or anything like this. This can even contribute, but in the end of the day, it's about you doing what is right not for you alone, but for the relationship. Yes? Do you agree?
Yes, I do.
So hopefully, if you are watching, this has helped you, all right? And don't go anywhere, because we continue watching the Love Talk Show.
Welcome back. Today's topic is about couples who work together. Do you think it can work? Would you be able to work with your spouse? Do you work with your partner?
So, Anna, let's check out together here what were the answers from people on the streets of London. Let's watch it.
For me, no, because I think I need my own space, and I would like for him, that he have his own space too.
Doing a good business with my partner, most probably it will give us a lot of opportunity, especially you had a close relationship.
He's my best friend, but I think you should keep the two things separate. I think okay. We're very different, so I feel like we wouldn't clash too much.
I feel it might be complicated. We've just had a baby, literally a few days old. I think that's enough of a contract as it is, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. We'd make a good team, I think. Definitely.
Well, it was great to hear what people think about today's topic,
Yes,
right?
so many different opinions, right?
Yes, and interesting ones, by the way. So, in conclusion, it can either be wonderful to work together with your partner or not, right? This will depend solely on your attitudes and your choices.
Yes. We'll go now for a quick break. After that, we'll share our own experience. We'll be right back.
Life. You might think that you are in control of everything. But all of a sudden, you see it all disappearing from you. Financial life, health, opportunities, family, love life, career, peace. This happens when you are no longer prioritizing the most important, the presence of God. And the only person who can take back control of your life is you. UCKG, helping people to make a new beginning.
Hello, dear viewer. If you are dealing with difficult problems in your relationship, such as
Fights,
or healing from a harsh breakup,
jealousy,
communication issues, or things of the like, come to the Love Therapy this Thursday and every Thursday at 8 p.m. in Finsbury Park, 232 Seven Sisters Road, N4, 3NX. For more information, visit our website, lovetherapy.co.uk. See you here.
See you.
Now we wanted to share with you our story of working together.
Yes.
Right? It's been 19 years. We can say 19 years already.
Yes, since you got married, you start working together.
Yes, and I believe one of the things that helps us the most, Anna, if we are to speak about the benefits of working together, is that for us, work doesn't feel like work. I know it's cliche, but it's what we love to do. We do this from the heart, we do this to help people. Actually, it is our main drive, our main motivation when we see people coming to us and saying that something they heard on the show or on the talks that we hold, they have been inspired somehow. We've seen people being changed. We've seen relationships being restored. Relationships that were already doing well, even improving. So I think this is a big plus. One of the challenges, Anna, is that even though work doesn't feel like work, at times it does get stressful.
Yes, yeah, I need to be very careful because I can, in the beginning, I was bringing work to the house, but then you got a little bit upset in the sense of you were tired, right?
Yeah, it's okay too, but you have to have a balance, right? You have to know, we talk about work at home too, right?
Yes.
We talk about it because as we said here, it's something we love to do. But of course, there are times that you need to get your mind off work and you need to be thinking about other things too, and sometimes
to get some rest, right?
Oh, absolutely. We're not machines, right?
Yeah.
But anyhow, it's been 19 years, we can say, working together. All in all, it's been much more pluses than minuses, right? We plan things together, right? Our main work together consists on sitting down, planning what we're gonna do to help people. What could we say? What could we do that could inspire people to live better, especially couples,
Yeah.
right? To be better. Since this is our motivation, this is what we love to do. Many times, more often than not, it doesn't feel like work. We're just having fun together. It's not like this always. There are people who work in a very stressful environment. Sometimes they work together, and because of work, there is this stress that is work related, and they need to also have the time to, when to disconnect from that stress, come back home and leave the stress at work, right? Not let it affect the relationship in a negative way. If it is, it's a sign that there is a lack of balance.
Yeah. And this kind of work that you do, we are learning and growing together. Because you're working with couples, you learn from ourselves, you learn from others, you learn from our mistakes and the mistakes of our family members, right?
Yes, we learn with our own, we keep on learning, we do make mistakes, we're not perfect and we'll never be perfect. We're always improving, but also the ones that we've seen in couples, the mistakes they make, and to be able to discuss about it, of course, not bringing any name or putting anyone on the spot, but putting the situation on the spot and how can you deal with it intelligently. So this is something that is really amazing about the work that we do, as I believe we have some scenes now that people can be watching about that show a little bit of what we do. And it's amazing when we are having these talks, when we are holding these seminars, when we are giving these courses, that people do give us a very positive feedback. And this is what makes working together a great thing.
And because you're working together, you're so much closer, right? Because it's 24/7, right? And you're much closer, you're best friends, you're always talking, and the communication is much better.
If we are to speak about the changes we've seen in ourselves and through the work that we do, I could say we've grown more mature.
For sure,
yes?
For sure.
It was, I'm not saying it is easy now, but it's much easier now than it was at the beginning. Because we learn, as we said, with our own mistakes, and also seeing the mistakes that people made and studying ways on how they could have approached the situation in a much more positive way, more rational rather than emotional. I'm not saying emotions are bad, you know, if they were bad we wouldn't be created with emotions, but many times when we act on emotions to make decisions, we make mistakes. This is something that we learned. And I think one of the main changes were that we were more rational, more patient with one another, more understanding of one another.
Edward, also one thing that I saw in myself as an individual, after being working together, I grew as a person. I was very shy person. I was very, in my time management, I was not good. To work together and in the marriage and also in our work, I saw a lot of things. You helped me to see a lot of things about myself.
And then I think, taking from what you're saying also, it's important that everyone understands they should take every experience as a learning experience. That's what we see sometimes that couples don't do. They were making the same mistakes today that they were making years ago. So the time is going by, they're getting older, but they're not necessarily growing. As you're mentioning here, that you grew as an individual. And growing as an individual has a lot to do with growing closer to one another, living happier together. So whether the experience is a positive one or a negative one, learn from it. What lessons can you take from it? What could you have done differently so that you could have a better outcome, a more positive outcome? Study every situation as a case study. Use it for your own benefit. You can do this. This is a more rational, as we said, approach rather than an emotional one, but one that will certainly lead you to be closer together, to be better individuals and better as a couple as well. A day at work in our relationship would go like, we'll wake up, have breakfast. Usually we have breakfast together,
yes.
Which is not a fancy breakfast. We don't sit at the table or anything like this. Is already getting ready to go to work. Then we have a meeting with a group of people that help us and that we also get help from them doing the work we do, where we get the inspiration, where we share experiences, where we talk about what we're gonna do that day, that week, that month. It's usually in the morning. We plan it together. After that, of course, as the day goes, by the time that finishes, it's lunchtime.
You have lunch together?
Yes, we do. Most of the times we do.
You speak more about also how was our morning?
Yeah, we try. One thing about the lunchtime and the meals time, it's important. We try as much as possible that we don't keep the TV on or looking at the phone all the time or replying emails, right?
Yeah.
We try to make that moment a moment for us to talk. Not necessarily about work,
yeah.
but how about the day is going, how about the week is going, how about life is going, or sometimes just something very silly, just, making a joke, talking to one another. After that...
Have some coffee?
Yes, which we love, by the way.
Yes.
But then after that, we already get into the preparation of what is going to be done that evening. Usually, our talks, our seminars, they happen in the evening time.
You exchange ideas and how can help.
Yeah, we already have usually a main topic of what we're going to talk about. We know what we're going to talk about, what we're going to say, and what we're going to do to help singles, to help those in a relationship and those who are married as well. And we discuss more points, right? Then it comes to the most exciting part, which we actually go to our place of work and we interact with the people. They come, they we call
ask
it
for counseling.
Yeah, the time for advice, right? So we give advice to them based on our experience, based on what we believe, based on what we've learned in the course of our marriage that has worked for other couples as well. There's a group of people around the world that do what we do, and we're always in touch with them. We have conferences with them. So at that point, usually around 8 o'clock is the moment where the meeting starts. Then we have that moment of the talk. After that, it's amazing. We get feedback from people. They want to talk to us. Some want to ask more questions about the topic. sometimes something that is not related necessarily to the topic, but they bring to us the challenges that they're going through. And it's by the time that is over, pretty much our day is over, physically saying we're tired, but
Sometimes you exercise.
yes, sometimes it's the only time that we have to do a little bit of a workout,
Workouts.
right, to stay healthy. We try to keep a healthy lifestyle every time possible. And then we go to bed, and that's how our day goes. I believe that it's important to know when work begins to affect the relationship in a negative way, right? I believe that one of the good things that working together works for us, Anna, is that we have a good relationship. We are happily married. That makes it much easier. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, and to be sensitive to the timing. There are times that he needs to be quiet and I need to be quiet. And so there is the time that I need to be sensitive when he wants just to get some rest and just to be quiet. But I think because you have these 19 years of marriage, you know already when the person is upset, when the person wants to be quiet, to get some rest, right?
Yeah, it's not only because of 19 years together. That helps much, but it helps because we've been paying attention.
Yeah, to the signs.
Yes, right? We try to improve.
Yeah.
We try to understand one
Learn
another.
from each other.
There are relationships that are much longer, 38 years together, the double, 40, 50, and that are still struggling a lot. So it's not the time alone, it's how you use your time, I believe. But I think, Anna, that this is it. If you are happy at home, if you are doing well at home, even if you work together at a very stressful work environment. Our case is not very stressful. We do sometimes receive people with a very complicated case, and we have to think about how we're going to help. It's a situation we never dealt with before. This is a constant challenge. If there is a challenge about our work, and it's a very good thing to have a challenge this way, is that many times we deal with a situation that we never dealt with before. It's a complete different scenario in a relationship. But when you have a solid marriage, a solid relationship, basically it's not very difficult because you're out there just pretty much doing what you do, being who you are. That's what we are right now. We're not, this is not a performance. We're not performing here. We are bringing to you at home exactly who we are. Yeah. What you see here is who we are. We are like this at home. We are like this. You know, you may find us at a certain moment upset. She's upset. She gets upset too. I get upset too. After all, we are human beings. Right?
But I think it's about also friendship, because you're not just a couple. Yeah, we are a couple, but you're friends, you're best friends, each other's friends.
And you mentioned about the timing, so let me go quickly back to that aspect again. Yes, you do have to be sensitive to get the feel, not feel in terms of emotions, but the feel in terms of to have that intuition to say, okay, if I, continue forcing on the subject of work, my partner may not be at the moment to talk about this right now. He or she already sent me the signs. Okay, can we talk about this later? I'm a little bit tired now. So respect the signs. Know when to take a step back, when to change the subject, when to talk about something else. It's very important. If people don't have this sensitivity and just say, no, but I want to talk about this now. No, we need to address this now. So then again, we are forcing a certain situation, right? We're forcing it in. It may
make more
affect
stressful.
the relationship negatively. So there we go. The main thing I would say, if you're happy at home, it makes all the more easy to work together. Anna, in terms of taste, we're very different. Usually, the places that Anna enjoys going are not particularly my cup of tea.
Yes, like museums, parks.
What I like more excitement and action, and football. It's not much her cup of tea. But what we try to do, what we had to learn to do, it didn't come naturally. It took sacrifice. It took the effort. Was not doing only what we want to do. We sometimes, the struggle nowadays is not like, oh, we're gonna do this. No, we're gonna do that. No, it's just say, what do you wanna do? I wanna do what you wanna do. No, I want to do what you wanna do.
Choose.
So, yeah, so which is a good thing. Because we basically work, 7 days a week, we could say somehow we're always involved with work, but it doesn't get heavy because, as we said, work for us doesn't feel like work.
What you love to do.
It's sometimes even, difficult to dissociate what is work from what is fun, right, together. But yeah, we do agree that it's important. I will say better, it's essential, fundamental, that you have an us two time. That there is a time for you to get away from the noise, when I say the noise, it doesn't mean particularly, I'm not speaking about sound, I'm speaking about the business, the responsibilities, the stress, right? It's difficult. The attention thing became pretty much complicated because your phone wants your attention, your laptop wants your attention, your tablet wants your attention, the billboard wants your attention, the TV wants your attention, everything wants your attention nowadays, right? And it's important to have the time when you are away from this, be it a weekend, be it a holiday, be it when you take a day off or a time off. But every relationship needs us to time.
To enjoy each other and to have that time to enjoy that moment.
Yeah, and sadly, for not exercising this, Anna, we see couples struggling nowadays if they don't know how to communicate. No, there's actually people...
They don't have the balance.
Yeah, there's actually people that if they don't have the phone around, they're gonna have a panic attack. They're gonna start, getting anxious, and this is not a good thing. I mean, I'm not against technology, but even too much of a good thing can become a bad thing, right? So it's crucial to the relationship that you have this time where you are disconnected from everything and everyone else, and it's just you both. And maybe there is not much to talk about, but just being there together, just being there, enjoying each other's company.
And this time,
when asked, honestly speaking, Anna, when asked, what is my best getaway? One of the things that I enjoy the most, staying at home with you. I know that many people say, oh, come on, it's so boring, but not boring for me because I have at home what I need. I have peace. It's not boring, of course. We go out.
I like to be at home with you, but sometimes I like to go out also.
And we do. I'm not saying stay only home with you, but staying home with you, for me, in my opinion, takes precedence over going out to even do something, because then I don't have the full attention. Then I have to be looking at other things and then sometimes talk to other people. If I'm with you, I'm happy. Hopefully this helps. Have an us to time. It's essential for your relationship. Another important point, and that I believe it's very important for everyone to understand, is that when you are in a relationship and working together, you need to work as if you are in the same team. You need to be team players. You can't be playing against one another. Remember, what you want to fight against is the problems that may come. You want to overcome challenges. You don't want to fight against one another. Your partner is not your enemy. And don't become the enemy of your partner too. We have to try to be as easygoing as possible. See the other side, right? See the other side. I admit here that in the beginning of the relationship, for me, this was one of the most difficult things because it's hard to admit. Now it's not hard anymore. It was hard then to admit, but I was selfish. It was one of the things that I had to overcome. Not that I knew I was being selfish. I didn't do it out of spite. I'm gonna be selfish. I'm gonna do what I want. But it was the way that I was. I had to learn to share more. I had to learn to see things from your point of view. I had to understand that not everything was the way I wanted to do.
And I was also selfish in my own way. I was very emotional. Every time that you were upset, I was upset, but I was not communicating.
Yeah, when you got upset,
yes.
Until today, it's kind of like this. You get quiet.
Yeah, I got quiet.
And that would drive me crazy because I would say, what's going on? And talk to me, and you wouldn't. Now I understand. Now I don't do this anymore, but it was me, you know, trying to have it my way, and you closed up in your own world saying, okay.
But when you think like that you are working as a team, you are together, you share, you communicate, you try to understand not only your own side.
Yes,
right?
and if by any means anyone watching us, you work in a competitive environment where the department that your spouse or your partner works is a competitive one with yours, then remember, you have to do your job, respect one another. When it's the time to clock out, leave whatever difference is there. Don't bring home the competition side, right? Compete, you should compete with one another to see who works harder to make the other one happy.
The benefit to the relationship.
Yes,
right?
Work for the benefit of your relationship. Be a team player. Your partner is not your enemy. Fight the problem, don't fight one another. So this is it from us today.
Yes.
We hope that you have enjoyed.
We love it.
We loved sharing a little bit more of our story, and also that we have given you some tips that hopefully have inspired you to grow together and to grow also as an individual. So from here, we are finishing today's show. Don't forget to join us next week at the same time and station. Until then, bye-bye.
See you.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.